The sea is a very, very alien and hostile place. We think we are the masters of it, but we're not. None of us are.
All the way around Wexford it was known as the graveyard of 1,000 ships.
If you go back in the past, when people couldn't read, the art told the stories. So if somebody wanted to historically document something, it was done through art. We look in the churches or we look in the buildings, and all the stories are on the walls. 5 years ago, Anne Borg walked into the studio to join a Mosaic weekend course, and she had with her a little bucket full of tiles. So normally we would have tiles provided, but she came with this little bucket and she said these tiles had special meaning for her. She emptied a bucket out full of the most beautiful little clay tiles with pictures on them, fragments of feet and hands and little details of flowers, and she proceeded to tell me that these were from shipwrecks 150 years ago off the coast of Rosslare Harbour.
I have a jar with chaineys that I've collected all my life on the beach in Rosslare Harbour in a little place just 2 points over called Moran's Bay. It was a ship that was sailing from Liverpool to Savannah in 1857. And it went down there, and to this day the pieces are still washing up. They are Copeland and Adams pottery.
Here were these pieces of history that were sitting in barrels in her yard, and wouldn't it be amazing if we could honour these pieces in some way? How do you honour the story with an artwork? And then I heard the story of the Wexford whale.
That's a Wickham. That's Fergus.
I'd be the fourth generation of Hobson in the family. Brian was there for a while.
I saved 95 lives.
But you have to look after other people. If you think about looking after people the way you look after them yourself, you're on the ball. You don't have to learn a whole lot then, do you?
You know, as long as you bring home people safe and sound. But there is occasions where it doesn't work out that way.
Wickhams, I mean, they were a seafaring family and had a huge history down in Wexford harbour and throughout Wexford, because they would have been famous for saving people's lives, and they would be famous for latter years also the lighthouse keeping. So it's in their blood. The sea and the ocean is in their blood, and those generations, it's passed down the line. There are still people in the harbour that are part of that. I would say over generations, the story has come up and down with different interpretations.
My grandfather and his brother, Edward Wickham, and my grandfather was James, saw this thing splashing on the Swanton sandbank, which was about a mile away from the fort where they lived. And they got in their little boat and went out. And they saw the commotion and realised it was a big whale. They notified the people in Wexford about it, but nothing was done about it. So the next day he went out and the whale was getting very fatigued, and Edward got out of his boat. Harpooned him and he stuck the thing just below his heart, and the whale died within very quick after that. But it's through compassion, instead of seeing him suffering there, because he was just getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And nobody else was doing anything about it.
Wexford wouldn't be renowned, this part of the county, for whales. So, you know, this is almost like a Moby Dick type story, landing on the shoreline. So I believe everybody was trying to get out there.
Something that scale never happened. So there was no hope of that ever going back in. Like, it was never going to happen.
Brutality as we see now and brutality as then are probably two completely different things.
They didn't go out to the ocean, kill it and drag it in. It beached, it was dying, it was discovered by them. Maybe it'd been there for hours, and so it was seen as putting it out of its misery. So we had the pottery going back to the 1850s, and we had the whale going back to 1891. And the whale itself was a great symbol of an animal that was almost extinct. And the pottery was a symbol of a tradition of the past. But they both represented journeys. And I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if the two historical journeys could be combined in one art piece? And it's interesting how, as I say, if this was a smash plate and you just had that bit, you would not really be bothered about it. In the same way as when it's been through the sea and the edges have all been rounded and the glaze has come off it, it suddenly looks like a little artwork. It's part of like nature reclaiming anything that falls to the bottom of the ocean.
Those mosaics are a reminder that the sea is a very, very alien and hostile place. We think we are the masters of it, but we're not. None of us are. Not even the whales.
And so in looking at that one piece of art, you're not just seeing a whale, you're seeing a whole story.